Welcome to the show. It's a Friday and week tujigezezaako ojiwumbaawumba ate okuba nga tugimaliriza. I want to congratulate each and every individual soul that was able to finish school or to finish whatsoever level gye basobodde okumala at this point of time. Thank you so much okubeera abagumiikiriza and you know you were able to wait on so many things to be able to finish school. So thank you so much for being patient with everything around you and be able to finish school. We thank the parents so much for sacrificing their every little thing, their money, their time, their wisdom. Thank you so much for investing in those people that were able to graduate. Eri abasomesa mwebale nnyo buli alina omulimu gwe yakoze mu bulamu bw'omuntu yenna amaliriza okusoma during this week and the coming week. Thank you so much. Tusaba nti Mukama ate abaddizaawo era you know akibabalira. Thank you so much. But well, it's a Friday and you know every single Friday on Google TV it's the Girls Talk Show and my name is Gift Nakainga. With me in the studio I have an amazing guest that I'm here to introduce to you. But well, tell you what, we are live on Facebook, we are live on YouTube. So go onto Facebook, follow Google TV Uganda. That is the only page you should look out for. Don't look out for any other pages. Google TV Uganda and for this particular show, please go there and put in your thoughts, your comments, your submissions, anything about tonight's show or topic. And well, if you want to call, the number is 0200904010. Use that number, I'll let you know when. And if you want to send us a message, probably on WhatsApp, the number is 0788140741. So for WhatsApp, you can keep those messages, you know, coming through. But for calling in, I'll let you know when you can be able to call us. But please, I'd also encourage you to call more people, your friends, to be able to tune in and be able to learn with us. Yeah, these are going to be 2 hours of learning. I'm here to learn, and how I pray that you also pick the interest to learn and also have fun. Yeah, have fun as you're examining yourself. It's been a month of mental health and it's been a mental health awareness month. Twagambye nga Girls Talk Show lwaki nedda abakazi tutawaana, abawala tutawaana, mentally relationships abagamba bitutawanya obwongo butusabukako. But well, we want to deal with all those things tonight and we have our guest with us who's going to help us be able to, you know, be able to come to our right minds okusinziira ku bintu bye tuyitamu na biki ebigenda mu maaso. Allow me welcome our guest tonight, Dr. Evers Atine, to say hello to us, and I will be letting you know much about her. You're welcome, Doctor.
Thank you so much.
Please say hello to the viewers and welcome them on the show. You can even call their names.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here, and good evening, everyone. I'm really happy to be here and to be talking about a very important area of mental health. I would like to ask whoever I sent a message to watch to please tune in, because this is a very important conversation for us to have. We need to have mental wellness. So thank you for having me.
You're welcome once again, Doctor. So tonight on the Girls Talk Show, we do have Dr. Evans Atrine, and she is a specialist in this very particular area. Well, she's a CEO and co-founder of the International Center for Mental Health and Family Care. She's also she's married, yeah. She's a family therapist. She's a parenting coach and a mental health specialist. She has a PhD in mental health and counseling psychology. So we have the right person in the studio. Like I told you, sit down. Consultation. Well, let's start by trying to understand, just like you see a topic on the screen, that are you well? Are you well? I've just posted it on my status and people are like, no, we're not well, but we're coping up. We're trying. We're trying. So we want to really get to be well. It's the mental health awareness month. Let me go to Dr. Evans. Before we go into what is mental health and all that, I'm going to start with, there was something that happened like 2 weeks ago, if not 3 weeks ago, where we had the headlines in the New Vision of over 14 million Ugandans are battling mental problems. And as I'm Medic, as a specialist in this area, what do you have to say of that?
Okay, so yes, so the statistics came out, and actually we had a conversation recently, just the other day on Wednesday, at a mental health conference, and we were informed that that was an underestimation. Yes, it's supposed to be higher. We suspect actually it is higher. The figures are higher because 14 million is actually 35% of all Uganda, of the population. And there is, because considering what is going on right now, post-COVID, the conversation was such that that was, what was reported was an underestimation. It's actually more. So maybe we are into 50% of the population or even more with a mental health challenge.
So because they were telling us that in 3 people, if you are 3 people, 1 of you is sick, has a mental health problem. So, and if you're saying that they underestimated that we over the 14 million people, for us, to people that saw the headlines, were like, no. I think people had never really taken time to think through mental health, like really, but it was kind of an eye-opener to each one of us. And to the community, people were like, oh, this is even existing. Oh, you know, it was, you know, somehow, somewhere, people were, their minds like really started thinking about mental health. So help us understand, what is mental health? And usually if someone says mental health, we're thinking, we don't really think so much, but we want to be like Murade, yeah? But we've just mentioned mental health. But I believe there is mental illness, there is mental disorders. So help us differentiate between those 3 things or 2.
Okay, so actually when you mention mental health, people think someone is mad. So I just want to correct that that understanding or misconception, because mental health is a state of well-being, right? It's not a state of madness. It is a state of well-being where someone is able to function properly amidst pressure. That's what it means. So if we say you are in a good mental health state, it means you can weather the storms of life. You can experience external pressure but still function okay. You're not run down or run over. So you still are functioning. So when we say mental health, I want the viewers to understand that mental health is a state of well-being, not madness. So when we say someone has a mental health challenge, then that means they are not able to function okay amidst pressure. Okay?
Yeah, really.
So you can still sleep well, you can still work, if we say, when we talk about mental health. So that's what it is. It's not mental illness, because every time the word mental is mentioned, people don't want to be associated with. That's why a number of people cannot even utilize mental health services. Right? So let me mention this here. I think I need to make viewers understand that a person's health goes beyond the physical. Right? So body houses a human being on the inside. There is a part of you and me that is invisible. Right? That is not attacked by malaria, but is attacked by stress and anxiety and depression. So those are the, I didn't want to introduce disorders at this point, but those are the, if I mention, infections that attack your invisible health, that invisible part of you that we can't see. Because, for instance, when I ask people about your spirit, they say, oh, so you hear this, someone is spirit, we are spirit, we have a soul, and we live in the body. Now, body is basically housing. So body houses a human being. So when we talk about feelings, can you touch them? No, you can't touch them. But do you have them? Yes, you do have them. You know, when we talk about mindset, you know, the mind, you know, your fears, do you touch them? No, you can't. So there is a part of a human being which is invisible, which also suffers and is attacked by, if you wish, infections called stress, anxiety, worry, fear, you know. So that part needs to be taken care of, and that's what we call mental health. So if your invisible part is free, or let me not say free, if it is subjected to external pressure, and I'm going to talk about triggers of stress and anxiety. I mean, like, for instance, now we have a situation in the country, everyone is complaining about commodity prices. When you're driving, you see, you pass by gas stations and you see the prices are just going up. You feel, so what's that? So you've gotten worried. And when you get worried, you feel something has, you have curved in. So that's what we talk about, that part of you which is not hand, which you can't. So we said those are internal wounds that we suffer. And so that part of a human being which we cannot touch, but suffers those infections, stress, anxiety, worry, fear, right? And then you lose energy. That's what we call mental health.
Thank you so much. I think now we can really be able to relate of what mental health means. Just like you see on our screen, our topic tonight is, are you well? And connecting it to this very month of May, which is the Mental Health Awareness Month. So we want also to understand this Mental Health Awareness Month and why is it really important. We've had between, was it 17th to 21st, they had that awareness week. And the theme was loneliness. In my mind, I was like, why really focus on this? But help us understand the whole awareness thing.
Okay, so the month of May is dedicated to mental health awareness. Number one, we started with it that most people don't understand mental health, as I've told you. So we have issues of ignorance. So when people don't understand, like now we're trying to unpack it so that someone understands that, hey, so when I feel excessively worried, then I'm not well. And in a moment, I'll tell you that if you feel unwell invisibly on the inside for an extended period of time, your body can't hold you. It cannot hold you because it's housing you, and our strength comes from within. Okay, so it is important for us to have dedicated time to sensitize people about this thing called mental health.
Okay.
right?
Yes.
They need to understand that it's not madness, it is a part of their health they need to pay attention to. So to provide that information. Number two, to help create awareness on available services. So when services are available, they are not being utilized because people say, counseling, that's for the mad, that's for, So they need to know that these services are available for them to use.
Counseling is for the married.
The counseling is for the married. So we have a challenge. So we need to create that awareness so people know that the services are there and they can utilize them. Number three, to help people understand that it's okay not to be okay. So when you feel unokay, it is okay, right? So don't start beating yourself up and say, what's wrong with me? I can't believe, I've been so strong. All of a sudden I've lost it. No, it's okay not to be okay. Just like you get malaria and go to hospital, it is okay for you to have so much excessive stress and you can't navigate a situation and you need help. So creating that kind of awareness for people to know. Another point is that there are so many families struggling with people with mental health challenges and they have no idea what to do.
Okay.
They have no idea what to do. They have no idea where the services are. And do you know what they say? They'll be okay. Stress, you just go through. Do you understand? Yeah, so that's why a month is dedicated to this issue so that we can create awareness, people understand, even in the workplace, even insurance companies. Yesterday I was just having a conversation with one of the insurance companies and saying, why do you, so they have this service, they provide medical care, but if a staff is going to get help, if they need counseling, they put a condition that someone has to first get a referral note from a medical doctor to see a therapist. And I thought, how ridiculous, you see, because not every issue not every stress trigger takes you to a medical doctor. And in our conversation, I noticed that actually this person had no idea about what was happening. So we need to create so much awareness across the board.
Thank you so much, Doctor. So we chose as the Girls Talk Show also to make sure that we add on the different voices that have been all over ever since May began. So let's get to hear our topic bite and internalize the topic. Are you well? And as you also put down your thoughts about this, we're going to come back after the topic bite.
According to the latest statistics from Ministry of Health and Uganda Counseling Association, as published in media, about 14 million Ugandans are mentally sick, with a majority suffering from depression and anxiety disorders. Age 18 to 29 being most highly affected. That there is also any country's most productive age group. It is Mental Health Awareness Month, and just before May could slide, we want to catch up with the country's big and concerning story this month. You are welcome to another Friday on the Girls Talk Show. Mental health refers to cognitive, behavior, and emotional well-being. That is to say, mental health refers to the well-being in how people think, behave, and feel. It is used to mean the absence of a mental disorder. Mental illness, on the other hand, refers to a condition which causes disorder in a person's behavior or thinking. In a population of more than 48 million Ugandan, reports show that 14 million of these are sick. Doesn't that mean knowing that almost half of Ugandans are sick in the most saddening way? Yet not even 1 out of 10 times do Ugandan families or peer groups discuss mental health using my own relations and discussions as a case study. Because my knowledge is limited and I'm excited to learn, allow me to introduce to you Evas, a marriage and family therapist, parenting coach, and mental health specialist, PhD in mental health and counseling psychology. Evas is also the CEO at International Center for Mental Health and Family Care. Whew. What a pool of knowledge. I hope you are ready to learn. Tonight we will ask, what is mental health? What are the contributors of mental health disruptions? What are the effects of mental health on daily living, relationship, and physical health? What are the early signs of mental illness? Why do we have a big number of mentally ill Ugandans? What about stigma? Many questions. As we wrap up Mental Health Awareness Month. After tonight's discussion, I pray you keep spreading what you learn. Remember, you are our access to the world, to learn, to know, and to tell another. Shh, quiet, listen. Welcome to the Girls Talk Show.
Welcome once again to the Girls Talk Show. As just like you've heard in our topic bite, we want to tackle a number of things, the predisposing factors to mental illness, and those very indicators. How do you tell that I'm getting overboard on this and this, I've been taken to the extreme of this, and how do I handle? So well, with our guest tonight, Dr. Evas, we want to really understand some of the predisposing factors to mental, because time will not be enough, I know, and we have people to call in and all that, but let's get to know those predisposing factors to mental health problems.
Okay, so the predisposing factors, or what we call triggers, there are so many, and that's why, for instance, you see in Uganda, we're saying almost everyone is unwell. There's so much pressure. Now, we have to understand that our mental health is affected by internal pressure, sometimes our thought processes, but mostly what is happening around us, what we call stress triggers. So there are so many. For some people, it is relationships. So much stress in families, in marriages, pressure from parenting, pressure from economic situations around us, so much pressure, illnesses, taking care of the ill, so much pressure. Now, definitely, when you look at what is happening right now, even school children, I mean, we've just recovered from COVID. The COVID pandemic, hopefully it doesn't show up again. But you know what we suffered? Isolation. You talked about loneliness. Human beings are reinforced, our health is reinforced by relationships. I want to tell you that relationships contribute 90% to our health, or 90% of our health is drawn from healthy relationships. Okay? So when we talk about mental health, it's actually that health we get from interaction, human interaction. So whenever human interaction is curtailed, then we struggle. We really struggle so much, because mental health, I have been speaking to different audiences, and let me share this, that when we talk about physical health, for instance, you have to eat well, get a good diet, eat 3 meals a day and all that. Mental health, on the other hand, the things we eat, if you want me to use that language, for good mental health, it is love, it is encouragement, is to know, is healthy, some of these things we overlook, right? It is a sense of purpose. I know that I'm useful.
Self-worthy.
Self-worth. It is really to know that you're valued. So many things. It is an appreciation. Simple, seemingly silly things, but that's where life lies. So when our relationships are curtailed, now you see again what is happening in families and lots of chaos, domestic violence and all that, then all those affect our mental health.
Okay, because just like you are a specialist, I really would want to ask this question. My producer, it's off the script, but you know, we've had issues. I believe medics have had issues attending to mental health clients or people that have gotten mental health issues, in the sense of we don't have a community accepting that these things are really happening. You know, maybe they are believing that it's something to do with tradition, culture, and all those things, that even when someone is stressed to the extreme, they'll say, either dogo or there is something that has happened. So how do you handle that in people?
So that's why I was talking about creating awareness. Now, talk about dogo. You know, human brain is very interesting. Human brain is the most important part of our bodies, because everything is ordered by the brain. But at the same time, viewers need to understand that the human brain is very interesting. Whenever there is so much pressure, it looks for a quick exit route. That's why you have all these beliefs about dogo. Because if I say bandoze, it takes pressure off me, because is it like you're projecting it elsewhere, you're displacing it elsewhere? Yes, so you're just displacing it, you're pushing it somewhere else and pushing responsibility off you, because I need viewers to understand that the triggers we talked about, you know, the pressures that we have around us, we have to face them and deal with them. For instance, let me use the current economic situation. Recently, I was driving and I saw the fuel prices. I had someone in the car and I said, oh my God, fuel is coming to 6,000, right? So immediately I felt scared, I felt worried, and that's what happens. So if I continue worrying about this, before I know, the body has produced so much stress hormone, and too much stress hormone is not good for the body. So that's all about stress, because it's okay for you to look at a situation and worry, but don't continue over worrying about the same thing, because every time you say, oh my God, what's going to... So the body just produces stress hormones, cortisol and adrenaline. And so when these hormones are so much in the bloodstream, then they affect the body. They're very powerful. These hormones are meant to help you deal with emergency situations, trigger the brain to generate quick solutions, and then they get out.
Okay.
But when they keep within the bloodstream, then that's where you find that now the body is caving in, and so it cannot hold you. What was the question? So
the question was about that thing of people believing in witchcraft.
Right. Yeah. So I was just giving you an example. So when I saw this, I said, oh, Jesus, fuel prices. And then the person next to me said, oh, I'm telling you, by the end of this year, it's going to be 10,000. Do you see that? Is it true? I don't know. Now, one of the ways to deal with the stress trigger is to, like, a stress trigger of that kind, is to make sure that you live in the moment. Okay. Live in the moment. Don't start importing fear and then ideas, and then you say, it's going to be worse, it's going to be 20,000. What's going to happen? So once you do that, you're actually putting pressure on yourself. And it may get to 20,000. It may not. It may actually reduce. So there are ways we need to reduce risk. Now, when you do that, now it's the same thing as any other trigger. When it comes and you don't want to deal with it, like relationships. Most people, when they have triggers in their lives, they try to push a responsibility to something else, bandoze, tebanjagala, instead of dealing with a situation. So you need to solve a problem. You need to be able to resolve an issue mentally or, relation-wise, so that you minimize stress.
Wow, that's amazing. Just like Dr. have been mentioning, that most of our mental health problems or issues come about because of whatsoever that is happening around us. And I would love to ask you about the different, the impact or the effects of these mental health issues on our families, on our relationships, in our day-to-day living. How do they really affect us? And how can we deal with the effects, the after effects?
Okay, so before you deal with the after effects, we need to understand how a person with a mental health issue looks like. So, look, a person, first of all, viewers need to understand that someone with a mental health issue, and we are talking about excessive stress, anxiety, or sometimes depression, right? So not every person who is stressed is depressed. Sometimes I hear people say, oh, I'm depressed. No, that's not how it is. So we need to understand that mental health or stress runs on a spectrum. There is minimal stress, which we cannot avoid, like I've told you. We all experience situations that create a lot of pressure, but then how we respond. So we may experience little stress. But then when, as I've explained, when stress levels keep increasing, we get to stage 2 called reaction stage. Okay. So at the normal stress level, you're still functioning okay. You may not be entirely comfortable and all, you may lose sleep one night, but you're not doing bad. That's healthy stress. Then we get to reaction stage. Reaction stage is where you've started getting irritable, you have you're forgetting, you're not happy, you're losing, you're getting sad and all, because you're reacting to a trigger. Then if again you continue without dealing with the trigger, you graduate to stage 3, which is injury stage. Now injury stage is a stage where it's injury. So you have the rate of irritability, relationships around you are affected, there's excessive sadness.
Yes.
Some people start getting withdrawn. You don't want anyone to hang around in your space being happy. Nothing makes you happy anymore. You lose interest in activities that used to excite you. So you're getting excessive sadness. Now this information is very important to viewers, because we need to self-diagnose. Don't wait to go to hospital to be told you have a complicated mental health issue. So if you realize that your attitude, you're getting what we call intrusive thoughts, all the time you're worried, you have worrisome thoughts, you're not so sure what is going to happen, there's no more hope in you, so that is a very dangerous stage. And so we need to pay attention to that. Then a lot of loss of energy. So you find that you can't get yourself out of bed because you have lost energy.
You fail to eat.
Yes.
You fail to sleep.
You fail to eat, you lose appetite, so many things happen. That is called injury stage, and it is stage 3. Again, if you do not deal with the issues, and when I mention dealing with the issues, I'm talking about therapy. These 2 stages, you can get someone to encourage you to, but stage 3, which is injury, is very hard to just for you to flip out. So you need professional help. Now, if again you're still dealing with the same trigger, excessive stress levels, then you're going to cross to stage 4, which is illness. Illness stage rather, is where you're not doing well. It is a stage of depression. This is where people start getting what we call suicidal ideation. So you've started thinking, I think I need to end my life. That is very dangerous stage. And then, of course, loss of energy, they can't function. You go to work, you can't work. You have lost so much, you can't eat. Everything around you is so bad. This is a very dangerous stage. Now, the reason I'm mentioning this is I want viewers to start identifying people around us. Sometimes it's your child. They are locking themselves in the room. They can't get out because they are feeling super stressed. So this is very important information. So when we do that, when we understand this, then we are able to tell, look, I'm not doing well. And you're also going to be able to know, I think I'm at stage 3 or stage 4. And once we see that, please scream for help.
Okay.
There are all these services available. Seek help. Go to hospital to talk to a therapist, and they are happy to help you. Now, I should mention to you that someone who has crossed to depression stage, sometimes they are not just helped by therapy, they have to get medication to stabilize their brain chemistry. So it is so important that you don't wait until you're convulsing, so to say. Just deal with an issue at this stage. Is it a marriage going wrong? Is it a child? Parenting issues, a big stress trigger? Is it domestic violence? What is it? Is it workplace related? Or that you can be helped to navigate an issue, because that's what therapy does. It helps you to generate solutions to a challenge.
Well, that's very amazing. And then you've mentioned some of the indicators, people withdrawing, people, are sad. So I earlier had asked about the impact or the effects of us manifesting with SAD, like I'm sad, I've withdrawn. What are the effects? I believe, I don't know whether in this case we have those that are positive if I withdraw. But let's get to know really how does it affect our families, how does it affect our relationships, how does it affect our work, and just our day-to-day living.
Okay, so now I understand why I got tempted to talk about the spectrum. So again, I've mentioned some of them. So for instance, when you lose energy, you can't work. You can't work. I've seen people who have lost interest in work, and they've lost energy, Can I just smuggle something in? Okay, so viewers need to understand that for us, when we talk about illness, whether it is physical or mental, it is about loss of energy. Okay, so human beings have 4 kinds of energy to keep functional, right? So we have what we call thermal energy, which is warmth, and we get this from food, coffee. I love coffee. We get it from, clothes and all. Warmth, we need to have that kind of energy, thermal energy. We also have to have, we have another second one called electrical energy. Electrical energy is what powers our nervous system to work, okay? That is the second one. The third one is chemical energy or physical energy or mechanical energy for the body, okay? Now, these 3 combined, they make up only 20% of a human being's energy levels. Imagine, all the food you eat and all, just together with electrical energy and thermal energy, they just make up 20% of a human's energy. Now, the 4th category is called psychic or mental energy. So this mental energy is 80% of a human being's energy, a person's energy. So when I am scared, I am worried, I am stressed, I am depressed, I'm basically losing what we call psychic energy. I'm losing mental energy. And because it is the most dominant part of your energy, that's why you find you cannot function. You have food there, you can't eat it. Because you have lost joy, you have lost internal
Interest.
right? You've lost internal vitality, so you cannot function. So that energy, that's why I've told you, you don't get it from eating food, you get it from relationships. Relationship with self and relationship with others. Okay, so that's why I was talking about encouragement, love, a feeling of love and being loved. So relationships are very important. And there is a study that was done by Harvard University about human happiness. So this is, we get that psychic energy from happiness, human happiness. That's where you get that energy from. So it shows that, first of all, 90% of our health comes from relationships, human relationships. But out of the 80% is drawn from core relationships, which is family. So anyone with family, you're married, your marriage is so important. Your marriage is a stream of life for you. You know, these core relationships, your marriage, your children, that is so important. So if those relationships are fractured for any reason, then you lose energy. So the effect, I don't want to forget your question again. So the effect of mental health challenges, I can't even begin to talk about it because people's health is affected. It is affected. Once you lose psychic energy, you've lost everything. So you go to work, you can't focus. You lose concentration. Most people have lost jobs because they cannot focus, right? They can't concentrate. Now, I work with, my organization supports different workplaces. And so I advise managers and that if you see someone who has been functioning okay and all of a sudden they are not, please check what is happening to them. Don't just fire them. Find out what is happening. But what happens? Some people are fired before then. So there's loss of job, there's loss of relationships because someone who is excessively anxious, relationships. All this domestic violence, some of it comes from that. But also I want to emphasize the fact that stress affects every part of your health, physical health. As a matter of fact, research shows us that 95%, I mean 95% of all illness is either a direct result of stress or it is directly caused by stress or made worse by stress. So for instance, if you have COVID, it's an illness, it's an infection, then you worry that you're going to die. So that's what happens. So 95% of all illness. Look at high blood pressure, all these lifestyle illnesses, heart attacks, risk of heart attack, brain issues and all that. Stress affects our entire body, the entire system. It affects immunity, you know. It affects, stress hormones affect, they break down the body defense system. So stress affects everything. So 95% of all illnesses are either directly caused.
Thank you so much, Dr. To our viewers, we're still talking about the topic of discussion, but are you well? You can ask anyone amongst your friends. Go to your phones, call them, send them messages, and ask them, "Are you well?" I mean, mentally, not physically. And I think people should stop pretending. These things of saying, "Okay, I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm okay." No, explain you're okay. Explain I'm fair. Explain I'll be better. I'll be good. You know, let's just not be comfortable. But I'm okay, and but. Explain that, okay, well, we want to add on the more voice to the different voices during this month of May, and I believe it's not ending this May. But organization like Dr. Evas's organization company, will be still doing this job of making sure that we get to a place where we are mentally okay and stable. Yes, and I believe she will be coming back here too. Teach us more of these things, and such that we can be able to cope up in the different societies where we live or where we stay. So if you want to be a part of the conversation, like I told you, use a Facebook page, which is Google Day TV Uganda. You can send us a message on WhatsApp, that is 0788140741. It's running over the screen. If you want to call, I think it's time you can be able to call and ask Dr. Evers any question and, anything. Just, be free and ask her. The number is 0200904010. Before we get into a break, because we're going to break a little bit, I would want to ask something. We've seen like high rates of suicide. Yeah, people are threatening each other. If you don't do this, especially in relationships, because they fear being left all alone. Like the rates are really high, and it's linked, or it's not like linked, but it's part of mental health somehow, somewhere. So help us understand, how is suicide related to mental health problems?
Okay, so suicide is related to mental health problems because, as I told you, we live off a sense of purpose. That's at the core of every human being, right? So any person is sustained by, I am useful.
Okay.
We never think about it. No one prays about it. But that's exactly what it is. The reason you wake up has actually lost a sense of purpose.
Wow.
So we need to understand where this person is coming from. And I've told you that they've gotten to the tail end of the stress spectrum. Right? They've moved from this, they've processed something, so probably they had a little challenge in a relationship, it continued. Now they've gotten to a point where they feel rejected. So they feel, I'm rejected, so I'm not useful, so why am I still living? No one loves me. So they have all those what we call cognitive distortions. So they've processed so much thought, and they've come to a conclusion, I don't need to live any longer.
Thank you so much, Dr. Evers. Yeah. Let's just get into a break. Omusawa fanyweko ku mazzi tugenda komo.
Lighting your soul. Gugude TV erungamizibwa ekitongole kya Uganda Communications Commission. Faba Jolly and Family tukukolera obuwunga bw'obuugi mu bika eby'enjawulo ate nga buli ku mutindo omuli Jolly and Family Yellow Porridge, Jolly and Family Rice Flour, Jolly and Family Bushiro Products, Pure Millet Flour, Sorghum Flour, Soya Plain, Soya Corn, Cassava Flour n'ebirala. Kati nno mwabalabirira abaana ab'amasomero abasuubuzi ne ssekinnoomu abagula mu bungi tuba ne transport wonna we mu bwetaaga ku miwendo emirungi. Tusangibwa mu Kampala mu Kisenyi ku Malinga Road, Zipper House ku dduuka K 516 ne ku kizimbe kya Nakaiza ku dduuka HK 04. Okumanya ebisingawo yita ku 0772 0376 oba 0759 Jolly and Family, quality is our priority. Muyiza amaliriza okusoma senior 4 oba ey'omukaaga jangu ku Makerere Institute for Social Development tusomesa course mu journalism and media studies omuli ebyamawulire okola ku TV ne radio, hotel and institutional catering wamu ne social work and social administration saako ne procurement and logistics, gattaka administration wamu ne human resource management. Sikulu fees zaffe zisoboka ng'osobola n'okuziweera mu bitundutundu ng'eno bw'osoma. Okwewandiisa emitwalo 2 gyokka nga tulina ne center number ya UB Limited tusangibwa Makerere ku luguudo lwa Sapolo Kagwa okulinaana Oilcom. Okumanya ebisingawo kuba 0754541115 jangu osomere ku Makerere Institute for Social Development osobole okubeera omuwanguzi mu bulamu. Wano mu Kampala ekifo kiri kimu kyokka woyinza okujja ebyuma bya music ebiri original nkwanjulira Pastel Music Center balina ebyuma eby'omulembe nga keyboards, amplifiers, jazz drums, microphones, woofers, screens, mixers, giteeze ekika kyonna ebyuma ebikola studio n'ebya brass band byonna, stage lights na buli kimu kyonna ekikozesebwa mu music bakirina. Basange wa Kiseka, Chagwe Road, ku Justin Arcade, ground floor, shop number G73, Mexorani Music Plaza, mu basement, shop number B4. Wewale nnyo abafere abayita Pastel. Kubira Pastel yennyini ku 0782 00 84 oba 0752 00 84 bw'oba oyagala ebyuma bya music ebiri original byokka ate ku miwendo egy'omukwano ansi ogisanga wa Pastel Music Center. Walina ebizibu by'olususu tutambula ekibuga ekimalako. Anti Shakira mulokole owa Smile Beauty Center baleeta akamwenyumwenyu eri abakyala n'abaami mu kujjanjaba olumu, olusolo, ensundo, n'amakula, embalabe, enkovu n'ebirala ng'okozesa krimu ez'enjawulo ze balina era basobola n'obbikutuusiza wonna wobyetaaga essaawa yonna. Smile Beauty Center basanga bakupaka View Building mu Kampala ku mwaliro gw'okutaano edduuka namba 3 yita ku 075 777 oba noti 787 noti 499 oba ku Facebook Namagembe Shakira ne YouTube Smile Beauty Center. Kalebe yone tujja kujjusa. TV, lighting your soul. Gugude TV erungamizibwa ekitongole kya Uganda Communications Commission.
You are warmly welcome from the break. Thank you so much for keeping with us since like we started at exactly 8 and here we are about to, get done with the discussion tonight, but we do not want to get done before we hear from you what are your thoughts about mental health. Maybe obadde okimanyi mu ngeri yanjawulo, ngesano sobola okugamba kati ngezako kitegera, please help me elaborate more about this and that. I told you can use a Facebook. I've seen Semfka, you're on Facebook. Thank you so much. The page is Gugude TV Uganda. You can also use the number for WhatsApp 0788140741 or you can call on 0200904010. The number is over the screen. Our topic tonight is Are You Well? It is the mental health awareness month, and with me in the studio I still have Dr. Evas Atwine, and she's the CEO at the International Center for Mental Health and Family Care. She's married, yes, she's a family therapist, she's a parenting coach, she's a mental health specialist. So all these different areas, maybe you're a parent, you want to be helped there, run to her. She's going to be giving us her different Twitter handles, directing us to where we can find her just in case we need help, because we really need help. So we would want her to direct us if we want to reach out to her, if you want to get in touch with her, or in a company you have workers and you want someone to talk to them, you have children, you want someone to talk to them, you can make an appointment with her and see how you can be helped. But we're going to get a topic right quickly and then we're going to come back. Prepare to call as we continue with our topic of discussion.
According to the latest statistics from Ministry of Health and Uganda Counseling Association, as published in media, about 14 million Ugandans are mentally sick, with a majority suffering from depression and anxiety disorders. Age 18 to 29 being most highly affected. That there is also any country's most productive age group. It is Mental Health Awareness Month, and just before May could slide, we want to catch up with the country's big and concerning story this month. You are welcome to another Friday on the Girls Talk Show. Mental health refers to cognitive, behavior, and emotional well-being. That is to say, mental health refers to the well-being in how people think, behave, and feel. It is used to mean the absence of a mental disorder. Mental illness, on the other hand, refers to a condition which causes disorder in a person's behavior or thinking. In a population of more than 48 million Ugandan, reports show that 14 million of these are sick. Doesn't that mean that almost half of Ugandans are sick in the most saddening way? Yet not even 1 out of 10 times do Ugandan families or peer groups discuss mental health using my own relations and discussions as a case study. Because my knowledge is limited and I'm excited to learn, allow me to introduce to you Evas, a marriage and family therapist, parenting coach, and mental health specialist, PhD in mental health and counseling psychology. Evas is also the CEO at International Center for Mental Health and Family Care. Whew. What a pool of knowledge. I hope you are ready to learn. Tonight we will ask, what is mental health? What are the contributors of mental health disruptions? What are the effects of mental health on daily living, relationship, and physical health? What are the early signs of mental illness? Why do we have a big number of mentally ill Ugandans? What about stigma? Many questions. As we wrap up Mental Health Awareness Month. After tonight's discussion, I pray you keep spreading what you learn. Remember, you are our access to the world, to learn, to know, and to tell another. Shh, quiet, listen. Welcome to the Girls Talk Show.
You're welcome to the Girls Talk Show, still continuing over our topic of discussion, asking ourselves whether we are well. Me, I wasn't well, but I'm getting okay. We shall be okay. Some of us we shall be okay, but we want to be okay, as in okay. You taking alcohol has never been the solution. You trying to withdraw from people, it's never been the solution. But we want to see how we can be really okay. As I wait on your calls, I was asking Dr. Evas to help us understand how we can cope up in this where everything, the prices are high, relationships are failing, like this is happening here and there. Your expectations are high and you can't meet them, or other people's expectations are high on you and you can't meet them. So that is causing the stress around you. So doctor, how can we cope up positively? Because people have resorted to abusing drugs, doing other forms of things that are really not nice. So how can we live normally?
Sure. So, as I mentioned, the number one strategy to managing stress is to map your control zones. And this is what I mean. When a situation happens, anything that happens to you and me, the number one question is, how much control do I have over this? So every time we stress over something we have no control over, that's a recipe for stress and anxiety. So for instance, I've told you fuel prices. Now, however much I stress, I can't control. Someone else is controlling the fuel prices. I can't even scream, they hear me, I can't do that. So what do I do? So we always have to look for, how do I deal with this? Right? So every time we feel helpless or hopeless, then stress gets in. Okay? So if you keep processing thoughts of hopelessness, I do not get this, I'll not get things are going bad, I might go back to the, all that, then you are going to be stressed. Instead, you need to redirect your energy to solving a problem. So how do you solve that? So in that situation, I can say, I think I will cut on driving and get on a boda for this season. Right? So that's number one. We need to check how much control. And if you have control over something, then try to work out how to solve it. Now, the science of solving a problem is that it activates what we call happiness hormones. Right? So in any situation, you're either activating stress hormones or you're activating happiness hormones. So every time we achieve something, every time you solve a problem, your body produces happiness hormones, right? So we have to be intentional about that. Number two, I've talked about living in the moment. Please don't make those projections that you're not so sure about. I know people who use it. For instance, I use it to do so much counseling during the COVID period. And so someone would they test positive, and then they start projecting. I think now I'm going to lose breath. I think now. So do you see how I think I'm going to die? Oh my God, if I die, what will happen to my children? Now, what that does is that it activates your more stress hormones in your body. What do stress hormones do? They reduce your immunity. What does that mean? Then now you're more susceptible to a dangerous situation. So it's the same thing in every situation. Let's try to live in the moment.
Okay.
Number three, let's try to be intentional about relationships. And I want to get on record here. Relationships, very important stream of life, stream of health for your life, right? I've told you that where do we get health from? How do you get nice feelings? How do you activate happiness? It is, oh my God, Gift, you look good. That's a nice jacket. Oh, you look amazing. Oh, thank you so much. You'll be well. So giving hope to people, things we do not give so much focus. Okay. Now, I have mentioned that core relationships are important. Sometimes we carry our core relationships for granted. You're there spreading, I don't know whether love or confusion, but then you find that the core relationships that service your life are deprived. So if your marriage is not doing well, you don't have a good relationship with your children, and you have a family, there you're losing so much health because you're losing so much happiness there. And happiness, that's where your health comes from. That's where we talk about mental health. Right?
Yes.
So if those relationships are not good, you go to the workplace, you're into conflicts all the time. Right? You're running relationships, you have so much toxicity around you in relationships. That is very dangerous. So we have to be intentional about solving problems, reconciliation, forgiveness, giving hope to people. Every time you re-energize people, every time you compliment me, for instance, I feel good, you get it back. Right? So it is very important that we are intentional about relationships. Be intentional. Be okay with your spouse. If something has gone bad, make it good. Because that's a life stream for your health. Right? So that I want to emphasize it. I really want to. So let's be intentional about that. Number four, we have to exercise a heart of gratitude.
Yes.
Gratitude is important food for your mental health. Now, every time I'm counseling people and they say, for me, nothing has ever gone okay for me. There's nothing, I think I'm cursed. But is that true? And that's what I mentioned earlier, that those are what we call cognitive distortions. So you have distorted thoughts about yourself and perceptions, and you have a victim mentality. That is a recipe for stress. A negative mindset. So we have to develop a positive mindset intentionally. So all those, I don't know whether I mentioned so many, but a positive mindset, that's health for you. So if I wake up, I know that I'm in a Christian studio or TV. That's why we wake up and say, this is the day the Lord has made. I'll rejoice and be glad. That's food for your health. You're feeding your spirit on hope.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So if you have hope, then that's food. That's food. So don't run to take breakfast when you haven't fed your spirit. That's why we need to do music. When I pull out of bed, the first thing I do, I put a hymn. I'm feeding my spirit. I'm feeding it on hope, on joy. I'm looking to the world with, with hope. So I don't want to go out and then I'm like, what am I up to? So we need to be intentional about life is about small things. Small, seemingly little things, but you need to be intentional. I encourage, one of the things that I'll tell you is for people to be intentional about engaging in life-giving activities. Like giving, right? Do you know what you get from giving? You activate a happiness hormone. Physical touch, a hug, especially when you're hugging the right person, right? Hugging your child, hugging your spouse, physical touch activates a happiness hormone called oxytocin. That's a bonding hormone. That's where we bond. So you find that you're really deprived of all that. And then that's where people get sad, right? They lose happiness. So we have to be intentional about mental health. Just like we eat 3 meals a day, you need to ask yourself, what have I fed my spirit? Have I read some inspiration quote? Have I listened to some inspiration video? Have I talked to people? Avoid negativity. Avoid negativity. Sitting around people who are discussing things you have no control over. Honestly this, honestly that, honestly this. Before you know, you're just exhausted. So some of those things we need to, I guess my main point here, gift, is intentionality. Let's be intentional about feeding. What are you feeding your spirit on? Is it junk or is it healthy food?
I know.
Yeah.
I have a number of questions that people are asking a number of questions, and number one question is, someone is asking that why do some people choose to just take the medicines and no therapy? Is that safe for them?
So I mentioned that you could be in a state where therapy alone can't work and you have to take medication, prescription. And that's important because it stabilizes your brain chemicals and you're able to, it shapes your perception. So if you're in a state where you cannot think straight, even if I spoke sense to you through therapy, you wouldn't understand. So that's why medication is given. However, some people run and get medication and they only settle for that. The danger with this is that medication may not be able to deal with the trigger, right? So we have to ask ourselves, how did you get into that state?
Okay.
So I mentioned that every mental health state has a trigger. So if you're worried about fuel prices and they give you medication, you take it. What happens when you get well? You're going to get back to the same situation. So what therapy does is that it helps you to understand your behavior. It helps you to understand the behavior of others around you. But most importantly, it equips you with skills for problem solving. So when you get skills for problem solving, then you're able to get over this. Now, another danger, before I finish this point, is that there is a danger of getting addicted to medication, because the only way you can feel well is when you take this pill. So if you take an antidepressant, you feel well, and then most people get addicted to that, and they feel that's the only way they can get well, but haven't solved the stress trigger.
Okay, I think you've been helped. And then someone is asking, why does someone with a mental illness need to have a routine?
A routine? Well, let me assume I've understood what that person is asking. First of all, routine.
Routine, for example, you've mentioned of wake up in the morning, maybe read a book, listen to some music, like do something,
Yeah.
I don't know, yeah, maybe
Intentional.
something like that.
So, first of all, routine is a stability anchor for our brains, right? So if I sleep and get up, and I know that I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this, that's medicine for my head. Okay? One of the challenges people got during the COVID lockdown is that they lost a sense of routine.
Okay.
So you get up, instead of dressing up and going to work, you're still in your night pajamas and you're taking a call and you have low energy. So it is very important to have that routine. As I said, it is a stability anchor for our brains.
Okay.
And there is power in prediction. If I know that I'm going to do this, it stabilizes my mind. But if I say, now what am I up to?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's how routine is important.
Okay, thank you so much, Doctor. Then this other one, excuse me, this one is asking, are there cures for mental health problems?
Cure?
Yes.
Yeah.
That is, can someone with a mental health problem completely be cured, get well?
Absolutely. So that's yes and no. But let me just begin with yes. Number one, I'm sure by this time people know that not every mental health issue is an illness.
Yes.
Okay,
So.
I've mentioned that ill stage is extreme, where you're depressed, contemplating suicide and all. So some of the challenges, mental health challenges, can be solved by therapy. Just psychotherapy, helping people to navigate their thought processes, which are subjecting them to excessive stress and anxiety. However, if someone has developed a condition, conditions like bipolar or schizophrenia and other conditions that they already have, they can there's treatment for them, and it helps because, I mean, there are so many illnesses we have for the body where someone has to, for instance, keep taking medication.
Yes.
I know I have a relative who is on medication for diabetes. I have I know a number of people who are taking medication for blood clot, for instance, and it's long term. So there are all these long term medications. I just want to make viewers understand that even if you're to take long term medication for some of the mental health challenges, like bipolar and schizophrenia and others, it is okay. Just consider that just the way you treat the body is the same way. The good news is that they are manageable. Okay. So once you get treatment and you take it in a disciplined way, you're able to live okay. You're able to live normal. Now, unfortunately, a number of people think, most people in society, especially here, think that if you're going to get medication for mental health, oh my God, no, it is okay. Just like you take long-term medication for
I think
others.
that also, it will lead us to this other question someone is asking, that how can one deal with the stigma that comes along with mental, if people get to know that, hey, this one has a problem, maybe they have epilepsy or depression or something, there is usually a way how people would want to put a mark on you. Some people would want to avoid associating with you or something. So how can one deal with the stigma?
So stigma, by its nature, is a projection of a weakness on the person offering it. Unfortunately, we take it in without thinking. The most important, first of all, I need to help viewers understand that stigma, there is what we call self-stigma. So we need to worry more about self-stigma than what is offered to us from the outside.
Okay.
Self-stigma, we can control it. The issue is when you have a condition, what do you think of yourself? So I can have a condition and say, why am I'm not good enough because I have this challenge. I am not good enough. I am, people are viewing me this way. That is self-stigma. No one has told you. But should you experience stigma from the outside, again, I want to encourage that you look at it from the standpoint of someone offering it. What are they projecting? Because much of the stigma is out of ignorance, like I've told you. So if someone says, I have stress, and then you say, don't bring your madness on us, you know, that kind of thing. And sometimes people are so super careless and insensitive. So we need to know that, I guess the big message from this conversation is that it's okay not to be okay. Mental health challenges are like any other illness anyone can have. Why aren't we worried about having, malaria? Why aren't we guilty? Why aren't we worried about people thinking, you don't sleep under a mosquito net or something, you know? But because we have ignorance. So someone who is offering you stigma is actually projecting something. You know, they are projecting ignorance or they are projecting their own other challenges. So don't take it in and allow the world to describe you. You have to be worried about you yourself, what you're worried about.
Okay, someone has asked something and it wants to take me to this question of Dr. earlier mentioned about the common, not the common, but these physical conditions, the normal conditions, malaria and all that. So if I'm living in a home where these people don't have any idea about mental health problems, and if you say that I'm not okay, maybe for example a child would refuse to go to school because they're saying they're not okay, and they'll ask you, what's the problem? Like, what's the problem? And literally there is nothing, but someone feels they are not okay. So we've had people that will fail to really understand if someone says I'm not okay, because they're looking out for that physical thing. There is pain, that pain. So how can we deal with such in families? And people are not given the necessary attention, or maybe be taken to the hospital. And if yes, even when the attention is given to them, they do not know where to go to.
That's right. So thank you for that question. So I've always told my audiences that all of us, each one of us can play a great role of a therapist. Each one of us, when we say therapist, sounds alien, counselor. And we just need to be kind and to show care. Human nature responds to care. Now, most of the time, when we see, for instance, especially children, when we see children come off a certain way, and you have mentioned physical pain. By the way, sometimes the stress translates into or triggers physical ailments. So most of the time children will complain of pain in the stomach, a headache, and all that. And when we approach them, we say, what's wrong with you? Katotani sechejo. What are you saying? No. Each one of us need to ask the magic question and listen to this. Are you okay? Are you okay? Every time we ask that question, it communicates care. Someone cares for me. Whether in the workplace, whether your partner, and they don't have the courage yet to talk about what is bothering them. The magic question, the icebreaker, what else can I call it, is, are you okay? So if I come to your gift and I say, are you okay? And we say it when we mean it. somebody will read the signal that you care. Now, when we do that, a person feels relaxed to tell you because they've got a message that you care. Now, remember that we only open up to people we trust. Now, every time you ask that, you have communicated care, you have also communicated, I can be trusted. Tell me what is bothering you. Now, again, in any relationship, when we do that, somebody will open up. Now, let me use an example of children. Sometimes children are struggling with issues at school. Maybe a teacher is being so unkind to them, they are stressing them. And so when they come home, they are not talking because they know that when they talk to the parent is going to judge them and say, what's wrong with you? Now you want me to look for another school. You know, that kind of thing. So this child is going to hold back and process their stress because they don't find grace. So I want to encourage viewers that each one of us can be a therapist by asking just that one question. Now, what you want is for someone to tell you what is bothering them, what is stressing them, what we call a stress trigger. So if you do that, then that's the starting point to helping someone. Now, should they tell you something and you find you're not able to help, that's why we are encouraging you, please utilize professional help. We are here to support you. Don't just go to a clinic to see a medical doctor. Also go to see a therapist who treats the invisible part of your health, right? Now, remember that most of the time, the stress has been too much and now it's manifesting in physical ailments. And then we go to treat symptoms when actually the trigger is not dealt with. So that is likely to reoccur. So my message to families or to friends, please check what is happening around you. Check when this child is not acting okay. Check when your spouse is not doing well. Check when your friend is not doing well. Check. You will be able to see. You don't need to have a lab to do diagnostics. Just check because it is changing behavior, it's changing attitude. You'll hear them, the words they say. And if you hear someone say, I think I need to take my life, take it as a huge emergency. That's an emergency. I know, I've read stories here and even elsewhere, but we had a case last year where this girl posted on her Facebook page and said, I really feel I need to take my life. And then her friend got into lecturing her, oh, you can't do that. You really can't do it. Come on, you'll go to hell. But that person just needed someone to rush to them and say, are you okay? Just that is enough to help someone feel cared for. That's how simple and less sophisticated mental health is. And we can always do the simple little things to help people feel loved, feel cared for. Okay. That's where mental health comes from.
Thank you so much, Dr. Still with Dr. Evers Achene, we're handling a topic just like it is over your screen, like, are you well? Are you well? You can ask this question over and over to yourself or to any of your friends and really ask them, are they well? And be very intentional. Get to understand whatever response they tell you. And some people will believe we mask a lot. Yeah, someone will ask you, are you okay? And you're like, yeah, I'm okay. But deep inside you, you're not okay. So I think doctor is telling us that we should be kind, we should, you know, get out there and help each other. But sometimes it's really hard for someone to help you when you've not opened up. Yeah. So get someone you trust and open up to them. There is this question someone is asking that them being misjudged because of their personalities and because of that very personality, someone will say, yeah. So maybe help us understand, is someone having a personality that is different from another person's personality? Those variations of the different personalities, does it mean that this person has a problem, or that this one is okay? How can we even deal with each other irrespective of the different personalities?
Yeah, very good question. Personality differences. There's such a big issue in relationships, and that's why most people get stressed, because they are trying to rework everyone to be like them so they can be happy. Yeah? Do you understand what I'm talking about? So if I realize Gift is different from me, I choose to I approach that with irritation. So I get irritated and I ask the question, what's wrong with you? I want to encourage viewers that we live in a world where we are different. There's all this diversity in personality, and we have to exercise what we call acceptance.
Okay.
Now, I shared earlier with someone that it is called emotional intelligence. It is how we see the world and how we approach the world and how we manage relationships. So it begins with, do we know ourselves? So it is that is called personal awareness. Do I know individual awareness? Do you know yourself? Do you know who you are? Some people hate themselves, actually. They hate who they are. But then others have an inflated sense of self, and so they are looking at everyone else as not being okay. What's wrong with you? You talk too much. You talk so little. Now, that kind of judgmental spirit.
Talk too much, talk too little.
Yeah, so it's a stress factor. That's why earlier I mentioned that we have to be very careful whether the way we approach life is either triggering stress hormones or happiness hormones.
Yes.
Now, I can look at you and say, oh, I'm not like you, you're not like me. But who cares? Who really cares? So social awareness is very important, knowing that people are different, right? That social awareness is important for you to know that people are different. The people we interact with are a pack of weaknesses and strength. And for you to choose to relate with them or to relate with them out of can't help, they are different, so you have to accept them. You can reject them and try to rework them so that they be like you, but that's a lot of work and it's going to be so stressful. Yes. And you'll not. So that's why I started with the number one strategy to solving stress is to identify your control zones. Can you control everyone's behavior?
No,
you can't.
No
so
one
if you try, aren't you setting yourself up for a nervous breakdown? You are. It could be your spouse. You can give them feedback. You can help them understand some of the things they probably need to work on. But I want to guarantee you can't change them. So let's try to relate with grace. Let's try to relate with acceptance. Okay. Let's try to understand. People who are, what is it called? Tribalistic, who are ever treading racism and all, that's a lot of work. Like, who do you think you are? You're also another human being helpless in this world. Come on, accept other people and move on. So if you're going to live okay, you have to exercise grace. You have to know that people are different from you and enjoy that diversity and accept them. Right? But the most important thing is, so I've talked about personal awareness, social awareness, but also there's what we call empathy. Empathy is another dimension of emotional intelligence. When someone makes a mistake, or what is your number one reaction? Do you come with judgment, or do you say, oh dear, sorry? And this is seen in small things. A person drops something and then you're so aggressive, you're so judgmental. Even in church, even in church, we're not gracious. I was reading a story on WhatsApp today about a person who forgot to get their phones off in church, and it made noise, and everyone was like, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Everyone was reprimanding. And I was asking, but each one of us can make that mistake. Supposing you approached that with grace. Now I have to tell you that those are some of the things we get into, and then we lose so much psychic energy. Yet, if we acted with grace and say, sorry, right? Are you sure that is so ridiculous and dangerous that you have to bleed so much psychic energy? No, it's not. So we need to be intentionally peaceful, intentionally gracious, intentionally loving, intentionally accepting. That's where our mental health is. No magic, no pills, no nothing. That's where it is.
Well, I've really loved every bit of the discussion, and our time is moving like this, but there's some part that I wouldn't want Dr. Evers to leave this place before she really handles this particular one, and that is about social media. I believe each one of us is on social media. If you're not on Facebook, you're on WhatsApp. If you're not on WhatsApp, or look at Twitter, at Instagram, TikTok, you know, there are a number of them. You somewhere, you somewhere, I believe. And social media has done a lot of good, but it has done some harm, yeah, especially to the young generation of these days, that there is a lot of competition, there is a lot. I'm driving this from this example. There is someone that posted on social media, and then just like you mentioned of that very person that they wanted to die, you know how people can go into these comments and they just comment anyhowly. So someone posted, if you want to die, you die now, it would call you. So in my mind, I was like, really, why didn't she maybe pick out some other comment that is positive, but why pick this very one that is really negative? But of course, those are people, yeah? She just gotten a voice that is supporting the bad idea that she already has, and maybe that alone also says that, hey, you see. And people say a lot of things on social media, and that has caused many of us to be depressed, to be anxious, to have a low self-esteem, and a lot of things. So doctors, help us understand how can we cope up, because social media is not going anywhere. It's here to stay. So as we try to wind up, help us and tell the young girl, the young boy, how they can handle the social media, not to affect their mental health.
Okay, so that's a huge area to deal with, but I'll just tell you that life is about choices, and this is one of the areas where we need to make a very, very important choice. So I keep going back to what can you control. So you're not going to control social media. People on social media, all of them have they're operating from a totally different mental space, and that we cannot control. A new app is coming up, and another one is coming up, and TikTok and Facebook, and I don't know what else is coming up. That's okay. But I have to make a choice on whether I want to be on every social media, is it platform? I have to make a choice on what I do with social media. Ultimately, power is within you to make a decision.
Okay.
If you just throw yourself there and allow the world to define you, and I know most young people, well, some of you who may be viewing this, we get, even old people, they get so bothered by how many followers. There's so much pressure on how many followers. I listened into a conversation of adults, and they're so bothered by how many people are following them. Now that's, again, they are coming from a certain mental space, which I cannot claim I know. But the point I'm making here is that social media has lots of influence on what we think. If you're not careful, it will define you, your worth. And this is psychology. So if I post something and no one comments, what message have I gotten? I will think, hey, I think I'm not good enough. Right? But is it true? No. No. Maybe people are busy. Do you understand? People are busy. They haven't seen that. But do you see how it works on our psychology? So you have to have a mental fortitude, what we call mental strength, to be able to absorb the things that are coming. Are you really strong for the world? Do you have that mental fortitude? Or you're going to crash at every statement that comes through, you know? If for instance, you told me you're very ugly, that's not a kind statement. And I can choose to believe it. I can choose to disregard it and say, I think this girl has an issue. I think she's not doing well. That is mental fortitude. I'm strong for the world. But I can go about saying, honestly, how can this person say, honestly, I think I am not. So you have to be strong. I have no control over what you say to me, but I have to be strong for me. So how do I approach this? So social media, as a matter of fact, big issue, but it has to be managed.
I've had you well.
Okay.
To our viewers, I'm really very grateful that you've been watching us, those that were able to type down the different questions. Thank you really so much. And time has never been enough, but we're here every single Friday from 8 to 10 p.m. And I'm going to be asking our doctor, our guest tonight, to help us give us the different Twitter the Twitter handle, that maybe if there is a number that we can use to call just in case we need help, or maybe where we can go. She can recommend us to any place that we can go to, because some of us, we don't know even where to go, we don't know where to start from, but she can help us, find a place to go to, or just call her, or in any way possible how we can access her. And also, doctor, you help us package, moving forward before we worry about the coming year. Let's do portions. Let's think of this year. People that are stranded, they are thinking, I've not achieved this, I've not done this, now this is crashing, now this is happening. How can they pick themselves up and, be on the move?
Okay, so thank you. So my message to viewers is that life is difficult, but it's not impossible. And when life is difficult, doesn't mean we haven't had good moments. But whenever we have had moments, the first message the brain records is that, first of all, you've never had a good moment, but also this will never end. So my message to viewers and out of all this is, I want you to view every problem as having a shelf life. Every problem ends. You have to make sure that you don't end with it. That's why I always say from this, that whenever you're in the midst of a challenge, make sure you don't die as a war victim, but rather you can transcend on the other side, build a mental fortitude, just understand that this is a difficult time, but there will be tomorrow. And and honestly, when you check, there's so much you have overcome, and so you can also overcome this situation. By the way, strength comes from hope. When you know this will end, tomorrow will come, right? And so every day offers us opportunities, And so we need to see today if it is challenging, that then there is tomorrow which comes with other opportunities. But if you're run down by stress, you'll not even be able to see the opportunity or to use it. So let's try to overcome that. So I want to encourage people to live in the moment of today, but then there is tomorrow. So let's be deliberate. Let's try. Mental health, unlike physical health, by the way, mental health is so much in our control. Most of the time when we have physical ailments, we cannot control them. But mental health, we can control it. It's based on what you think every day. It's based on what you have chosen to feel. It is which emotions you have activated. If you're living in fear, with processing anger all the time, regret all the time, hate all the time, then you're not doing well. So we have control over that. I can choose to love someone. I can choose to forgive. I can choose to like everyone around me or take them okay, and that I have control over. Okay. But if they've told me I have a cancer, that I may not be able to control it so much. So I want to encourage us from today to know that we have so much control of our mental health.
Thank you so much, Doctor. The contact, the way we can find you on the Twitter
services everywhere. I just want you to be open, so I'll just share about the services we offer. International Center for Mental Health and Family Care. We specialize indeed, just like the name suggests, in providing therapy. Therapy, both preventive, equipping people with information and skills on how to solve the problem. But should you have a challenge, we provide psychotherapy or counseling. And I want to encourage viewers to please come. Our center, our therapy center is in Tinda, on plot 423 near Eliana Hotel in Chigowa. We are open 8 to 6 every week from Monday to Saturday. Our numbers are 0772 425 449, and you can also call our contact line for appointments 0770 944 597.
Can you help me just repeat the numbers, Doctor?
0772 425 449 and 0770 944 597.
Okay.
There's
Thank
also
you.
our an Airtel line.
Yes, you can read it for them.
Yes, 0702 7474 17.
7474
17.
Okay. Thank you so much, Doctor. We're very grateful. Kindly, in just less than a minute, you can send greetings to whoever that has been watching, and you say good night to them.
Okay. Thank you so much for watching. It's been a joy to be hosted by you, Gift, and this station. An opportunity to give information about this very, very important area. And I thank people who have watched. Please pick interest in every piece of information on mental health, because that's an area where we still need a lot of understanding, because we can never use the service when we don't understand or appreciate the problem. I really thank you so much, and I want to encourage once again, viewers, it's okay not to be okay. And anytime you feel not okay, please reach out for services. Seek help. Seeking help is not a sign of weakness, it's actually a sign of strength.
Thank you so much, Doctor. Thank you for honoring our invitation here in the studios. And I want to thank so much the viewers. Thank you for being a part of this, for learning, for being eager. And, you know, you've been waiting since we started up to now. Thank you so much. Our production team, our producer Tabitha, and the entire management. I'm so very much grateful for this opportunity to talk about mental health. Well, till next Friday, I want to wish you the best of your night, but don't forget it's a Friday instead of partying and, you know, get up from kanisa. You go for overnight and pray, yeah, so it's time for overnight. So when I will work out church, please go before the Lord and be mugambe into a night therapist. He will take you through. So good night.